Charanga Carolina, a todos quiere invitar. Charanga Carolina, a todos quiere invitar a bailar la rica plena que
Good afternoon, and thank you to Alyssa and Lucas for that beautiful performance. This is a very special day. You all have spent many years here in Hill Hall and our surrounding buildings, rehearsing, studying, practicing, and becoming the best musicians you can possibly be. And we, your faculty, have cheered you on all along the way. But what we are most proud of is not the music you've made or the musicianship and performance skills you have honed. Rather, it is the way you have grown into creative thinkers and leaders, problem solvers and collaborators, who are now ready to step across the stone walls of our beautiful campus and into the next chapters of your lives. Now, tonight, you will have your degrees conferred upon you at the university's commencement ceremony. But this afternoon, we have gathered to reflect on what you have accomplished in your distinctly musical studies, and what you have accrued from this community that we hope you will take with you. And today is a celebration of your accomplishments, but we know you did not get here alone. All of our journeys are ones we walk together, with the people in front of us inspiring and guiding us, the people beside us encouraging and supporting us, and the people who will follow after us, looking for our light to mark new paths of possibility. So as we begin our ceremony today, I'd like to take a moment to to acknowledge the people who are here today who have been on the journey with our graduates. Your parents, grandparents, siblings, families, friends, and loved ones, thank you. Thank you for being here to mark this occasion. To your classmates and peers with whom you have made so much music, we thank you as well. And your faculty. Many of your faculty are here today, and I would like them to invite them to stand briefly so we can recognize our faculty as well. We remember the first time we met you. It was at an audition or a campus visit, or in that incredibly awkward and intense first class, your first semester here. We are proud of your journey, but today is also a chance for us to reflect back on our own journeys. I remember my first day of music theory class. I remember my first orchestra audition. I remember the bravado with which I faked my way through a music history test for which I had not studied. And I remember with elation the final performances of my senior year, many years ago. With those reflections, which I'm sure all of my colleagues are engaging in today as well, comes the deep knowledge of just how much further your journeys will take you, that this truly is a commencement day, a beginning of something exciting, and we know that you are ready. So, let's get to it. I'd like to invite Professors Mike Figueroa and Evan Feldman to recognize our degree recipients.
Good afternoon. Will all of the Bachelor of Arts degree recipients please stand and come toward the stage?
Christian Scott Rallison. Cindy Shu. Jacob Alexander Bandy. Hilton Reed Baker. Sarah Marie Lowe. Martha Grace Elizabeth Jackson. Anant Vishal Malpani. Marvin Burke Kuntz IV. Henry David Woodburn. Scott McCartney Gillum. Ryan Anthony Smith. Chloe Mae Winchester. Kylie Morgan Robinson. Lauren Nicole Evancho. Eden Rosenbaum. Timothy Mark Yardley. Sarah Kate Brooks. Alyssa Marie Wilson. Vasilisa Yumatova. Kenneth James Fisher. Catherine N. Brown. Olivia Grace Fultz. Brooks Townsend Faribault. Quincy Wesley Griffin III. Kamani Craig Leonario. Sarah Ama Antibia Quabia. Alexander Michael Aishad.
Congratulations to all of our recipients of the Bachelor of Arts degree. We will now invite our Bachelor of Music students.
Will all of the Bachelor of Music students please stand and come toward the stage?
Catherine Lynn Rupp. Jordan Lee Schertz. Jonathan Daesung Park. Lucas Scott Hendershot. Daniel Alexander Asanov. Kyle Kojin Rodriguez. Stella Marie Ferrer.
Congratulations to all recipients of the Bachelor of Music degree.
Now I'd like to recognize the graduate students who have earned Master of Arts degrees this year. Mick Anderson's thesis is entitled The Thomas M. Bellow Papers, 1970 to 1971, and the Sounds of Student Protest at the University of North Carolina at Chapel Hill. Mick, please come to the stage. Eden Jones's thesis is entitled Instrumental Underscoring in the Evangelical Contemporary Church, an ethnographic exploration of affect, ethics, and divine encounter. Eden, please come to the stage. Taylor Noel Smith's thesis is entitled When Classical Meets Jazz, an analysis of Frédéric Chopin and Jean-Baptiste. Taylor, please come to the stage. Justin Wilson's thesis is entitled Skipping Towards Queertopia, Music, Queer Joy, and the House of Cox. Justin, if you're here, please come to the stage. Let's applaud him anyway. Now, our students who receive a Doctor of Philosophy have started with graduate coursework and shorter research papers before undertaking several years of original research in their chosen field. With their dissertations, they have completed a significant contribution to the study of music. Please join me in welcoming new PhD Melissa Lee Camp to this ancient and venerable company of scholars. Melissa's dissertation is entitled Nahda in the Grooves, Musical Modernity in Baidaphone in Post-Imperial Egypt, 1900 to 1940. Please come to the stage, Melissa. I should say Dr. Camp. Aldwin Anthony Hogg Jr.'s dissertation, defended in August this year, is entitled Black Sonic Technopoetics, Sound, Music, Race, and Technology in 20th Century America. Let's please give Dr. Hogg a round of applause in his absence. Stella Lee's dissertation, also defended last fall, was entitled A Polyphonic Study of Jazz in Early Occupied Japan, 1945 to 1949. Let's please applaud Dr. Lee in her absence. Sarah Allison Lindmark's dissertation is entitled Discotheque, Jukeboxes and DJs in Manhattan's Gay and Lesbian Discotheques, 1968 to 1975. Please welcome Dr. Lindmark to the stage. Alexander Marsden's dissertation, defended last August, was entitled Rehearsing Community, Performing Empathy, The Value of Music in Refugee Advocacy Activism in the United Kingdom, 2015 to 2022. Let's please applaud Dr. Marsden in his absence. Erin Caroline Pratt's dissertation was entitled Freedom and Repetition in German Strophic Song. Please welcome Dr. Pratt to the stage. Congratulations to our graduate students.
Next, we will hear a solo violin piece, Darshan, by Rima Esmail, performed by Anant Vishil Mapani. Please welcome Anant. Thank you, Anant. In a moment, I will welcome to the podium our student speaker, Marvin Burke Kuntz. Marvin is from Raleigh, North Carolina, and I'm going to take the liberty of sharing a brief story about Martin. Several years ago, Marvin was a student in my first semester music theory class. And one of the projects that I had assigned was to create a notation puzzle using transposing instruments and less common clefs. Marvin saw this as the perfect opportunity to execute a musical prank. I unwittingly put his notation puzzle on the screen and set the class to work decoding it. They solved it, and what appeared was, never gonna give you up, never gonna let you down. I am genuinely delighted to be able to introduce Marvin to you today as your student graduation speaker. Marvin is graduating with a double major in math and music, where his primary teacher has been Dr. Stephen Anderson. Next year, Marvin will be starting a PhD program in math at MIT. Would you please make welcome Marvin Kuntz.
Hello, everyone. It's so good to see all of you. Happy graduation. I suppose as I begin, I am beginning now, but as I begin, first I have a confession. When I got the call to do this, I was very frankly confused. First, well, you haven't heard it yet, but I promise you will. I have a speech impediment, and this is a speech. The astute among you will notice the problem. I don't call the shots, don't blame me. But secondly, and of more substance, I promise, as Professor Neal just told you, I'm a double major. If you ask my Tar Heel tracker, music is my secondary major. Why not put a real music major on the stand at the music graduation? And this one did give me some pause. In fact, I wondered for a little while. I have some wonderful friends who would do a great job. But after some thought, I realized, well, most of my fine friends are music students. Most of my faculty mentors are music faculty. My favorite classes were in this department, and half of my hours were spent in these thrice-damned buildings. The real music student thing, we don't really do that here. And I know it's touched on every time somebody wants to extol the virtues of our department, but I think it's important. It's important to me because we're not some cloistered conservatory attached to a university. Anybody from the hobbyists in a single ensemble to the secondary majors to the aspiring professionals, and for some of you, really current professionals, have the same access to this awesome community, for one thing, and a first-rate music education, which is pretty cool. But at the same time, I also wanted to talk about some of the challenges that our class has faced. It's been a lot in 4 years here. For one, well, as we all know, we showed up in COVID. That sucked. I'll leave it there. But also, and briefly, I want to talk about we showed up in the middle of a curriculum change. And that was a big deal for a lot of us. I mean, it's the classes that we take. And it was direly needed, to be clear. I mean, you can't go around calling, you should not go around calling Western tonal music history. That's not true. And of course, I think we're all glad that the theory requirements have been broadened up a little bit. That helps a lot. But at the same time, I think some of us, especially those going to graduate school for music or interested in a music education licensure, felt that the rug was pulled a little bit. We lost access to those aforementioned Western tonal theory the courses, and that affected us, some of us, in a big way. Now, I'm not here to be critical, to be clear, or point fingers. I enjoyed the new courses, and I didn't really want to take the old ones. Let's be honest. And I mean, the curriculum had to change, and nobody has been able to provide me with a satisfactory plan that didn't involve way more resources than we actually have. But I just want to acknowledge that sacrifice we were made to make, perhaps be acknowledged for it, and furthermore emphasize that we don't want our experience piloting this new curriculum, these new courses, to be the end goal. We want it to be the start of a new and better curriculum that better serves the needs, the diverse needs of our students. Now, that's enough talking about the department's present and future. We're all in hats. Most of you are in hats. I'm not in a hat. We're graduating today, in case you hadn't noticed. We're going places. But even though we're leaving the department, the department isn't leaving us. We take these people and this education with us to all these far corners that we're traveling to. For some of us, the folks that are staying in the musical fields, this means the hard skills, the honestly fantastic suite of performance, composition, production, theory, all the brilliant ensembles, and the one-on-one time with some really world-class faculty, instructors, and teachers. That's going to help those of us in a big way. But even, of course, for those of us who aren't staying in the musical fields, we appreciate that too. Of course, there are soft skills that we have too. I mean, music majors have our own strengths. I want to touch on those. None of us are ever going to be surprised that consistent and focused work helps. You've called it practice for 4 years, but it's going to be a big thing. Nor are any of us going to struggle working in a team and working through problems and disagreements peacefully and smoothly and kindly. That's what it takes to be a music student at Carolina. And finally, with our hard-won, really, musical understanding, we're going to be able to build and find community wherever we go by sharing this music that we've studied so hard. Most importantly, though, the thing I think I'll treasure above all else aren't these skills or these the hard or the soft ones. It's you. All my finest friends, all my most valiant mentors. I will treasure them always. And no matter where we go, we take each other with us. That, I think, is the great victory of this department, and that's why I'm going to miss you all so very much. Thank you.
Our next musical offering is a song by Felix Mendelssohn, performed by Eden Rosenbaum, Vasilisa Yumatova, and Lauren Nicole Evancho. Next, I would like to invite Professor Lee Weissert to present our Music Department Awards.
Good afternoon. It's my great pleasure to announce the following special awards in music. To the award recipients, if you would please come to the stage when I call your name. The David Aarons Award for Excellence in Musical Performance goes to Anant Vishal Malpani. The Music Department Award for Academic Excellence goes to Clara Louise Schertzer. The Baroque Ensemble Award goes to Olivia G. Foltz and Henry David Woodburn. The Carolina Choir Award goes to Lauren Nicole Evancho and Scott McCartney Gillum. The Chamber Music Award goes to Henry David Woodburn. Chamber Singers Award goes to Sarah Kate Brooks, Vasilisa Yumitova, and Timothy Mark Yardley. The Benjamin Swalene Orchestra Award goes to Hilton Reed Baker, Martha Grace Elizabeth Jackson, Anant Vishal Malpani, Catherine Lynn Ropp, and Jordan Lee Schertz. The UNC Opera Award goes to Catherine Ann Brown, Stella Marie Ferrer, Vasilisa Yumatova, Eden Rosenbaum, and Ryan Anthony Smith. And the remainder of the awards listed on the program have already been given out, so please join me in congratulating all of the award winners.
Thank you, Lee. Today, we have a very special guest with us. Margo Drakos is a former cellist turned social entrepreneur, impact investor, and proud U.S. military spouse. Her career illustrates the possibilities of a musician who eschews categories and limits in all she does. Margo is a managing director of Draper Richards Kaplan Foundation, a global venture philanthropy firm where she focuses on investing in and supporting the leadership of organizations to realize scale, impact, and positive change. In 2007, Margo co-founded her first startup, Instant Encore, the leading provider of web and mobile technology to the performing arts globally. In that role, she launched the first mobile apps with ticketing and live video and audio streaming from Carnegie Hall to the Sydney Opera House. In the national service space, Margo founded, led, and now serves as the board chair of Artist Year, a national AmeriCorps program. She holds degrees from the Curtis Institute of Music and Columbia University, along with executive degrees in global leadership and public policy from Harvard University's Kennedy School of Government. My colleague Nick DiEugenio remembers meeting Margo when he was just an ambitious young performer fresh out of college. He told me he was blown away by her knowledge of the world and her level of artistic experience. She has been both a mentor and a flat-out inspiration to him. But simply put, Margo embodies the values that our music department cares about: citizenry, curiosity, excellence, and a human connection made through music and the arts. We are delighted to have her with us today. Will you please welcome Margo Drakos.
Hello to members of the faculty, parents, family, chosen family, and friends, and most importantly, to the class of 2025. Yay! I am honored and grateful to be with you today at your commencement from this exceptional institution. To the graduates, congratulations, and thank you for the chance to honor your commitment and dedication to your art form on this special day. Today I'm going to speak about two things that may seem incongruous with this occasion, and perhaps your future paths, but I assure you they have never been more relevant. I'm going to speak about toolboxes, and I'm going to speak about light. 26 years ago, this very month, I sat in a seat similar to yours as I graduated from the Curtis Institute of Music. I don't remember a thing about my commencement. I don't remember the music, I don't remember the speaker, or my name being called to receive my diploma. I only recall sitting in Lenfest Hall feeling completely terrified. I had no job, no grad school to attend, and no clear path to pay rent in June. You see, I was slated to stay a fifth year at Curtis. I had a plan. The last week of April, I had a lesson with my teacher, David Sawyer, the late cellist of the Guarneri String Quartet, who also held the distinguished name of the Monster. I recall finishing playing the Hindemith cello solo sonata for him, and he said, "You know, you don't really need to be in school anymore. It's time for you to go out in the world and find out how badly you really want this career. It's time to sink or swim." He paused, and then he continued, "I'm going to give your spot to another cellist." Dumbfounded, I tried to hold back tears as he was far from the sentimental type. I made a pleading case, but he was clearly done with the discussion. You see, Curtis paid my rent. I had a Curtis cello on loan to me. I had no other contingency plan. I had no savings, no way to secure medical insurance, and no family support. As I took my sorry self back to my apartment on Rittenhouse Square, I sat down with the American Federation of Musicians union paper and found that there was exactly one cello advertised for principal of the Oregon Symphony on May 18th, in 3 weeks. Mind you, I'd never taken an orchestra audition, and the list was huge. So I started practicing with relentless focus, playing for everyone I could convince to listen to my excerpts. I had just enough money in my bank account for the plane trip, of course, which required 2 tickets, one for myself, one for my cello, and 2 nights of hotel. After the final round, I waited along with 3 other finalists in the orchestra player's entrance in the lobby of the ornate Arlene Schnitzer Concert Hall in Portland. The late Maestro Jimmy DePriest, came slowly in, stuck out his hand to me, and with a big warm smile said, "Congratulations!" I was the new principal cellist of the Oregon Symphony. I called Sawyer right afterwards, with a light drizzly rain that evening, if I recall, to tell him that I had won. He said, "See, I told you so." I didn't find it that amusing. I share this story with you today because the only constant in my own professional journey thus far is that I am seemingly unqualified for every professional experience I've had. Whether as a principal cellist at 21, going to grad school at Columbia University without having studied anything other than music since my teens, quitting tenured cello positions to found a tech startup with absolutely no background in tech, I've not been traditionally qualified for any of my positions. Yet, I would argue that the tremendous opportunities afforded to me in my own life all stem from a toolbox that I began building back in Suzuki violin at the age of 2.5, the study of music. Now, this is not to say it all started out well. I had a Suzuki violin teacher in Columbus, Ohio, Ms. Ginny Christofferson, a very kind and patient soul. Yet after a recital, my nearly 5-year-old self literally chucked my violin across the room, claiming I could not stand the shrill sounds of the violin and declaring that I wanted to play the cello. I preferred its tone. Quite frankly, I think I just wanted to sit. Unfortunately, I did not have the foresight to anticipate how pleasant it would be to carry a cello around the world and buy an airplane seat for said cello for decades to come. So, growing up, my home life was a conflicted juxtaposition of domestic instability and rarefied educational and musical opportunities. I was hungry to realize my own agency and was striving for stability and belonging. I was a double major in cello and composition at the Cleveland Institute of Music and transferred to Curtis when I was 18. Due to my concern for financial stability, I decided when I transferred I would solely focus on the cello. I believed that a career path as a cellist would be far more stable than the life as a composer. No disrespect to the composers here, but what a secure plan. I loved my time studying in Philadelphia. I could escape the world around me and fall in love completely and dedicate my whole self to my art form. With my respected and sometimes quite mercurial and demanding teachers, and of course, brilliant friends and classmates, I began to learn how to teach myself. I learned how to think critically about every note, every phrase, and every movement. I learned how to toggle back and forth between a musical instance and an entire piece. I learned how to think about the intention behind the speed of each note's vibrato, and as my teacher Sawyer said, how to play the music between the notes. As I moved across orchestral and chamber music positions, I became increasingly hungry to explore and learn deeply about more things, the way I did the cello. So I applied to Columbia University for grad school to study international affairs and human rights. Perfectly logical. It was right across the street from my faculty position at the Manhattan School of Music, where my quartet was in residence and where we rehearsed. It seemed like a practical, time-efficient option. I was rejected. The admissions committee said I did not have an accredited degree, Curtis did not count, but the dean knew my playing as a cellist and let the committee know that I could not be completely clueless. They said if I could take a class and pass it, I could matriculate. Well, the only class that fit into my string quartet's touring schedule was a 400-level war, peace, and strategy class. That was incredibly over my head. I had not studied a single non-musical subject since my mid-teens. I got docked a percentage of my grade for missing a class while I was giving a master class at another institution. And we literally had our quartet sound check for a Carnegie Hall performance during the class's final exam. Professor Betts was a firm and highly respected individual, and it was a rough road. but I passed, barely, and because someone recognized that my study as a cellist made me qualified for something, they took a chance on me, and I matriculated. A semester later, when I was in an extractive industry law class, Professor Jenik Radin presented a joint paper assignment. I went straight to the person I thought was the smartest in the class, Tarek, and said, I'm not going to be a great thought partner, but I can research and I'll work hard. I neglected to disclose it would be my first time researching anything since my 8th grade research paper on mental illness and the homeless for Mrs. White. And I neglected to mention that I had never done online research. So I went to the library stacks and approached the task just like any new piece of complex music. Well, our paper ended up being published in Cornell's International Law Journal. We presented at Yale Law and The Hague, and published other versions together with our Professor Jenik, including in the Stanford Social Innovation Review, all in part, though I didn't fully recognize it then, because of music. It took me a good year to get the courage to make the leap and resign from my cello positions to dedicate myself fully to my first startup, Instant Encore, as you shared. It was terrifying. My identity was as a cellist. I still couldn't even introduce myself without saying, hi, I'm Margo, I play the cello. What if I failed? I talked to my adored Professor Jenik about my decisions ahead, and I vividly recall where I sat on an old futon in New York City as he lectured me. He said that we each have a toolbox, and if we don't forget or disavow our tools in it, they won't fail us. He continued by saying that my toolbox, the study of cello, provided me with the foundational tools I needed to guide me through my career and endeavors ahead. I doubted him and found the guidance ridiculous, especially since he didn't even know anything about music. But he was right. I found that understanding a problem that you are obsessed with solving, recruiting teams, fundraising, managing engineers, building and launching things that never existed, that trusting in my toolbox prepared me incredibly well. We often attribute musical aptitude to natural, innate talent. And while my intent is not to downplay the importance of a person's inherent aptitude, we all know and love some tone-deaf people, but attributing artistic success to a genetic lottery is at its core insufficient and dismissive of the relentless dedication required to mastering your toolbox. Each of you possesses this priceless toolbox, one that I hope brings you strength, purpose, and grounding throughout your journeys and explorations ahead. Through your dedication to your art form, you have learned how to think deeply, how to think critically, how to make decisions. You've practiced in preparation for the unknown. You know how to compete in uncertain environments. You know how to switch between the micro and the macro. You see a pathway to the end where others often don't. And as it turns out, these are very rare capabilities. Remember and trust in your toolbox. And now the light. There's a quote on my desk, a quote I've had on my desk for the last 14 years. It is a quote by Plato. The souls of people on their way to earth pass through a room full of lights. Each takes a taper, often only a spark, to guide it in the dim country of this world. But some souls, by rare fortune, are detained longer and have time to grasp a handful of tapers, which they weave into a torch. These are the torchbearers of humanity, its poets, seers, and saints, who lead and lift the race out of darkness toward the light. They are the lawgivers, the light bringers, way showers, and truth tellers, and without them, humanity would lose its way in the dark. More than a decade ago, in a world away from the blue Carolina skies of Chapel Hill, this quote was read in mourning. Their numbers depleted by 3, a group of journalists gathered in Misrata, Libya, to eulogize their friends, including a friend of mine, Chris Hondros. Incidentally, Chris grew up in Fayetteville, North Carolina, and graduated from NC State. He was a Pulitzer-nominated and world-renowned Getty and New York Times photojournalist. These friends were killed interpreting our world through photography, fatally wounded by a mortar attack by Libyan government forces. Chris was incredibly passionate and knowledgeable about everything classical music, Mahler horn parts, Bach solo violin parties in particular. He was known for holding listening parties for journalists in all corners of conflict, from Iraq to Sierra Leone and Kosovo. And it was the bridge that first connected us. As I transitioned from my career as a cellist, I learned from Chris that our connection was much more than music. Journalists, photographers, humanitarians, educators, mathematicians, sculptors, researchers, scientists, everyone who endeavors to interpret the humanity of which we are a part, to preserve it, to share it, to move it forward. These are the light bringers, the way showers, and the truth tellers. You all have an opportunity to embrace this role, not with hubris, but with humility, and realize that your accomplishments are not the reward for your dedication. Rather, your dedication is the price paid, and it is only a pittance for the enormous privilege of having been kept a little longer so that you could bring the light. While in some senses your dedication, your gifts, and your talents have never been less valued by our society, your capacity and your capabilities have never been more important. You know all the work and commitment that has brought you to this moment today. No one can ever take that away, and you have the courage to do what you are doing. There is a tendency to think of the arts broadly as the thing that comes after. It is the thing that comes after the piece, after the law, after the politics, after the real education, when in reality, the arts stand in the middle of it all, in the glory and the gratitude and the churn of human existence, in the conflict, the pain, and the joy. They are not extra. They are the essence of our humanity. How fortunate we are to have each of you, the class of 2025. Godspeed as you go forth with your toolboxes to light humanity's way. Thank you.
Our final musical performance of the day will be Lucas Scott Hendershot and Marvin Burke Kuntz playing Driftin' by Herbie Hancock. our graduates, we wish you well, and a little part of us goes with you, leaning over your shoulder, adjusting some technique, pointing out those historical and cultural connections, but also savoring the art and the light you are putting into the world and the leadership you embody. Please stay in touch. Write to us. Stop by when you're in town. Keep reading our newsletters and our social media. Call on us when you need us, and please support the work of this department wherever you land next. Thank you to our parents, siblings, loved ones, and friends for being here today. We wish you all a very special and happy Mother's Day weekend, and we especially thank our faculty for celebrating with us today. Let me also point out our amazing department staff who have made today possible. Would our department staff please stand and be recognized? Following our ceremony, please join us down the hall this direction in Hill Hall, room 107 for our reception. But before we go, for one last time, Scott Gillum, please come up on the stand. Will you lead us in singing together, Hark the Sound?
So my fellow students, please stand. For everyone else, if you hate to, please stand up. Since we're musicians, let's all start on the same pitch, shall we? 2, 3.
Hark the sound of our hill voices ring.